Welcome to the pulsating biology. We were covering the chapter that is the immunity and the disease, and today we are going to cover another subtopic of this chapter, that is the effect of excessive consumption of alcohol, which means what happens to the body and what the body reaction is being given whenever there is excessive consumption of alcohol. When you talk about the excessive consumption, everything that is being in an excessive quantity is always harmful towards the body. Similarly, when you talk about the alcohol, so whenever the first effect that a body shows whenever you have an excessive consumption of alcohol is a reduced self-control. What is meant by the reduced self-control? Reduced self-control means that the person is unable to perform the voluntary actions. That means that the person is in a state of less activity of a mind. Next we have is a depressant. The depressant doesn't mean that the person becomes depressed. It means that the depressants of the nervous system, that means the central nervous system basically is depressed and its activities are being inhibited. Next is that the reaction time is increased. When you talk about the reaction time, there's always a reaction to an action, and our body always responds very quickly. But when you talk about in this case, the reaction time is always increased, which means, for example, whenever you are drunk or whenever you have excessive consumption of alcohol and you're driving a car and you see a passenger or a person basically passing by a road, normally if you stop by 10 seconds, at that moment you will be stopping by 20 seconds or even more than that. This means that the reaction time of stopping the car basically has been increased from 10 seconds to 20 seconds. Next, obviously, whenever we consume alcohol, there is a damage to the liver. Excessive damage to the liver is termed as a specific term that we are going to learn in this here is the cirrhosis. This cirrhosis basically means that there is an excessive damage to the liver. Whenever the body receives the alcohol, it takes the alcohol through the hepatic portal going towards the liver, where it causes the damages to the liver, and which may also cause the cancer. When you talk about the state of a cancer, cancer is basically a term that refers to the excessive multiplications of the cells that is very, very harmful towards the body. It might be malignant or it might be benign. Other than that, we also have some social complication. Obviously, regardless of the body complications, we often faces the social complication that includes the loss of a job or criminal activity or drug abuse or even any personal issues. These are few of the excessive effects that are caused by the excessive consumption of alcohol, that includes the reduced self-control, depressant, damage to the liver, reaction time is increased, and also the social implication. Let's talk about the social implication in a much more detail. The four most important social applications can be termed as, for example, the loss of job, which includes the loss in daily activities. Then we say the drug abuse. The person who is alcoholic, it must be indulged into the drug abuse, or we can say divorce. It causes its personal implications. Then we have social implications. There can also be some like being a murderer or a killer, we can say, since I've given you an example of an increased reaction time, which means that the person wouldn't be able to respond or to react to a certain situation in a very respective time.